Welcome, dear students. In today's session, I'll be taking up related to the integrity constraints. In the previous sessions, we have discussed the nature of relational database schema representation, right? Yes, and I have also told you about the constraints that has to be followed or normally expected in such relational databases. So let us understand more about integrity constraints and the different types in it. Okay. Integrity constraints provide a mechanism for ensuring that data conforms to guidelines specified by the database administrator. So what is the advantage of having integrity constraints? I had already mentioned that in a database, for example, the company database, we found many relations like employee, department, project, many such relations. So when there are many relations in a database, of course, there will be a relation from one relation to another. So there will be a relationship, right? So when there exists a relationship, so certain integrity constraints. So if a relation is having a relationship with another relation, okay, then how the relationship is possible? What are the data that are being collected by the users? So according to the data collected by the users, whether those conditions are satisfied so that employee relation can have the relationship between the which one, the department relation, so like that. So any integrity constraints will help us for ensuring that whatever the data that are present, that are saved in the database, are according to the guidelines that are specified by the database administrator. So guidelines is specified by the data administrator. How it is, that is, he has taken all the requirements from the which one, the users, end users, and according to that it is being designed. So okay, so the most common types of constraints which includes are as follows. The first one is unique constraints, not null constraints, foreign key constraints. So you need to understand the meaning of it. Remember, we are having how many types? Three types. In the integrity constraints, we find three types. First one is unique constraints. Second one, not null constraints. Third one is foreign key constraints. So what is the first category? To ensure that a given column is unique. Unique constraint means what? For example, any column in a table, in a relation, if we will be having many attributes in it. So whichever the attribute, for example, roll number, that column, roll number attribute column, okay, each value in that column. For example, in your class, 30 students are there means how many? 30 rows we find. 30 row of student data we will be inputting. Are you all understanding? So 30 roll numbers. Each roll number should be unique. It should not be repeated. So to ensure that a given column is unique. So roll number column values should be what? Unique. It should not be repeated. That is the meaning. Unique constraints. Not null constraints, to ensure that no null values are allowed. So for example, if we have a column roll number, or if we have a column student name, any of the two you can consider. Either roll name, roll number, or the student name. Any of the attribute should not be, the value in those attributes should not be null. For example, if 30 students are there, all the 30 students should be given the roll number. If 30 students exist, all those 30 students' name has to be specified. So none of the values should be left empty. It should not be null. We can't say that the name is not known, the roll number is not known, or it doesn't exist. It should not happen. So not null means what? The column, whichever the column is having a integrity constraint not null, that column should have all the values specified. No cell has to be left empty. None of the cell in that column, in that attribute should be what? It should not be null. Okay. So not null constraints. It means what? The cell should have a value. It should accept or it should be fed with certain value. Okay. Foreign key constraints. Third one. To ensure that two keys share a primary key to foreign key relationship. So what do we mean by two keys share a primary key to foreign key relationship? So just check out here, students. In one of the example I had told, here employee SSN is a primary key, right? SSN is a primary key, and here manager SSN is taken, right? In department, what you are finding? Manager SSN. So manager SSN means what? It is a SSN number, employee number itself, but the column name is renamed as what? Manager SSN, because the department is managed by which employee? So employee SSN itself we are feeding here, and what is the column name? We have given new name, manager SSN. So just check out here, students. In employee, SSN is a primary key, whereas in department, manager SSN becomes what? Foreign key. Okay, so the SSN, the primary key of employee, is used, or we are finding that primary key values in which one? Department relation. So any primary key of a relation. So SSN, the primary key of employee relation. Okay, those primary key values are found in department relation, in another relation. So in such cases, we call those uh, primary keys participating in another relation as what? Foreign key. Okay. So similarly here, in the employee relation, we are having DNO. DNO is nothing but the department number. If you just check out the department relation, you are finding D number. D number is a primary key of department, right? So now the D number, the primary key of department is acting, or it is found in which relation? Employee relation. So now here DNO, it is renamed, right? Yes. So this D number is a primary key of department relation. So as it is taking part in employee relation, DNO is called as a foreign key. Okay. So any attribute which, for example here DNO, department number, it is a primary key of other relationship. But if any primary key taking part in any other relation. So here department number is taking part in which relation? Employee relation. So now we call this as a foreign key. Okay, so like that. To ensure that two keys share a primary key to foreign key relationship. So in our example, I just showed you with the employee SSN and department number. So whatever the three types I just now have dealt, we will be understanding more exactly with certain examples. Okay. Now, entity integrity constraints. So what does this mean? The entity integrity constraint states that no primary key value can be null. This is because the primary key value is used to identify individual tuples in a relation. So what is the rule? What is the uh, matter with the entity integrity constraint? What do we mean by that in the database? So any relation, any table where we decide which attribute has to be primary key. For example, in the student, we decided roll number has to be the primary key, and that value should be what? Unique, right? Yes. So entity integrity constraint tells that no primary key value can be null. So the attribute roll number, that column, if you are having 30 student details, all the 30 students should be given with certain roll number value. So for example, for 25 students you gave the roll number, and other 5 students, if you are not assigning the roll number, no, it is wrong, it is invalid. So whichever the attribute we consider as a primary key, that has to be what given with what value. So no value of a primary key should be left null. Okay, so that is a meaning. Having null values for the primary key implies that we cannot identify some tuples. So with the help of primary key itself, we can recognize the rows of information or the records that are being inserted in a relation. So if you are a student, if I want to access any of your students information, means with the help of the roll number only I can get the respective record. I can't make use of a student name because student name is not a primary key and there are chances that student names may be repeated. So with student information I expect I may not get if I use the which one name, in case if the student, if there exists more than one student of same name student exists in a particular class, more than one student is there with the same name. So in such cases, with using name, if I want to fetch a record, I will be getting all the students record whose name matches that. Did you all understand? So if I use roll number, which student I am expecting, the correct reference of that student information I'll be receiving. Are you all understanding? So as primary key values are very essential, any attribute which is considered to be as a primary key, with the help of those primary key attribute only, we can identify the tuples. I mean the rows of information that are present or the records that are existing in the relation. Okay. For example, if two or more tuples had null for their primary keys, we may not be able to distinguish them if we try to reference them from other relations. Suppose if let us assume that some the roll number attribute, as it is a primary key, one or two records are not given with roll number. It is kept null. Okay, so what happens then? We will be unable to distinguish them if we try to refer from other relations. So as roll number is a primary key and roll number can act as what? Foreign key. In which one? The grade report. So in the grade report we will be finding the grade information for the respective roll number, right? So roll number is found in which one? In the grade report relation, and there the roll number acts as a foreign key. So there, if any of the primary key value in student, if two roll numbers are not at all assigned, for two students roll number itself is not assigned, then while referring from one relation to another, while providing the grade information for those students, it will be a problematic. Are you all understanding? So how to refer those particular records which are not having the primary key? That is the thing. Key constraints and entity integrity constraints are specified on individual relations. So whatever the integrity constraints we are speaking with, that the no primary key value should be a what, cannot be a null. Okay, so how we are attaching these definition? So they are specified on individual relation. So whichever the relation, when we are creating a relation or when we are creating a table, when we are creating a table called as student. Okay, so there itself we have to specify the constraints, like among the attributes, student number, name, class, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, like this. For each of the attribute, what type of constraint we are attaching. For example, roll number should not be not null. You are attaching which constraint? Not null. And it is a primary key, like that. Similarly, when you take for student name, you are specifying the what constraint, that the name should not be null, not null. This is what we mean by adding the constraints during the construction of a relation. Is that clear? Now, the second one is referential integrity constraint. So what is it? Referential integrity constraint. What is this? One we just now discussed was what? Entity entity integrity constraint, right? Yes. So now we are discussing referential integrity constraint. It is specified between two relations and is used to maintain the consistency among tuples in the two relation. So when does this referential integrity constraint comes into picture? When we say that employee relation is having a relationship with the department relation, then any two relations is having a relationship. In such situations, which one is actually used? Referential integrity constraints are used. Okay, so how? And just by taking some of the examples we'll understand. Informally, the referential integrity constraint states that a tuple in one relation that refers to another relation must refer to an existing tuple in that relation. So, any referential integrity constraint. Whenever we take referential integrity constraint, it gives a rules that a tuple in one relation that refers to another relation must refer to an existing tuple in that relation. The meaning is, if you are telling employee 101, what is employee number 101? And if employee 101 is a manager of department accounts, let the department number be A1. Okay, so employee 101, let he be the department manager of which department? Accounts department A1. Okay, now if employee 101 exists, if employee 101 is existing in employee relation, only then the information what we find in the department relation, that is department name, department number, manager SSN. Manager SSN is what we are referring 101. Are you all understanding? So what is the meaning there? So if employee 101 tuple exists in employee relation, only then which one is true? Which one is true? Department accounts with department number A1 is managed by which particular employee? 101. Okay, so that is a meaning. So referential integrity constraint states that a tuple in one relation that refers to another relation must refer to an existing tuple in that relation. For example, the attribute department number of employee gives the department number for which each employee works. So we have which attribute DNO of employee. So all the employees are working in one or the other department. So department number of employee gives the department number for which that particular employee is actually working. Hence its value is every employee tuple must match the D number value of some tuple in the department relation. It means what? So whenever we are adding the department number information for the employees, those department numbers should exist in the department relation. For example, if I say employee 101 is working in department A1, it means what? A1 is a primary key of which relation? Department relation. So A1 should exist. If it exists only, we can refer that A1, accounts 1, department number to employee. Are you all understanding? So this is what you mean by referential integrity constraint. So whenever we are referring certain rows in any other relation, we should check that those relations are what exist, the values found in those relation exist. Okay, by this we can tell that the constraints specified between two relations maintain the consistency among tuples in the two relations. So if department number A1 exists, only then which value or which reference is right in the employee relation, the sentence employee 101 works for A1 department. A1 is what? Department number. So if A1 exists, and if it is one of the department number in department relation, then this will be true. Okay, that is a meaning with referential integrity constraints. To define referential integrity more formally, first we define the concept of a foreign key. So whenever we speak with this second category, referential integrity constraint, then we should make you all understand the term foreign key. What is this? The condition for a foreign key is given below, specifies a referential integrity constraints between the two relation schemas R1 and R2. So whatever the conditions we are finding with reference to foreign key, they are going to specify the which type of constraint, referential integrity constraint between which two relations, any two relations like R1 and R2, employee and department, like this. R1 is employee, R2 is department, like that you can consider. A set of attributes foreign key in relation schema R1 is a foreign key of relation R1 that references relation R2 if it satisfies the following rules. So they are telling in any of the attribute in that relation, okay, can have or can act as a foreign key. What is that? A set of attributes foreign key in relation schema R1 is a foreign key of R1 that references relation 2 if it satisfies the following rules. So what is that rule? Or I can say if any attribute is called or is considered to be as a foreign key, so which are the rules it has to follow? Okay. The first one, the attributes in foreign key have the same domains as the primary key attributes pk of R2. The attributes fk are set to reference or refer to the relation R2. What is the meaning of this? Observe here, students. I am taking the example of department number. I have already told that department number in the employee relation, that is represented or given with a new name called as DNO. Okay, so department number in employee is acting as a foreign key. Let me recall for you all why DNO is called the foreign key, because DNO is nothing but the department number. Department number acts as a primary key of which relation? Department. Okay, so department number is a primary key of which relation? Department. If the primary key of a particular relation is referred in any other relation, then this attribute is called as what? Foreign key. Okay, so foreign key attribute. Now we shall understand what is that with the referential integrity constraint. So the first rule is if D number is a primary key, if D number is a primary key of department relation, and how will I give the validity that DNO is a foreign key of employee? DNO becomes foreign key only when even DNO is being referred with the same data type what we find the definition in the department. So in the department relation, whatever the definition is given for the D number, so D number is considered to be as what I mean from many what explanations I'm referring as what A1 accounts department, department number A1 I told, right? So it is a combination of what? Alphabet and digits. So alphanumeric, okay, or it could be something like character type. We have chosen the data type for D number. So if the size is 4, department number size is given 4, the length of the characters. Okay, so the same definition here. So DNO, when it is considered as a foreign key in which table or relation employee, only when this DNO is also what defined with what particular data type, character data type, and with size how much, 4, the length of that character is how much, 4. Okay, so like this the definition has to match, only then D and O is considered to be as a foreign key in which relation, employee relation. What is the second rule? A value of foreign key in a tuple T1 of the current state R1 either occurs as a value of primary key for some tuple T2 in the current state R2 or is null. So it is a little bit tricky, which I'll explain with an example. Check out here students, in this diagram or in this figure, this 3.6. Just check here, employee relation, department relation and department location. So in the employee, which are how many attributes you are finding? First name, middle initial, last name, SSN, birth date, address, sex, salary, super SSN and DNO. So which is our primary key here in this table? SSN, right? Because it is being underlined. So that is why we call it as a primary key. Now, if you just carefully observe, you are finding DNO. DNO is what? It is a department number, and this department number is a primary key of which particular relation? Department relation. So here in the department what relation? How many attributes you are finding? Department name, department number, then manager who is managing, manager SSN, then manager start date when he has taken in charge. Okay, so the second rule of a foreign key, what does it means? If you just check out here students, the very first one, first entry, John B. Smith of SSN. Let us not read the birth date, address and all. Okay, male with 30,000 salary. Okay, and super SSN, super underscore SSN means what? The supervisor information. So employee name is John, and John is having a supervisor who is going to monitor John. Okay, so that supervisor's which one roll number, oh, sorry, the SSN is like this. Okay, fine. Then DNO is 5. It means what? John B. Smith works in which department? Department 5. So observe below department relation. What is the attributes found in department? Department name, department number, manager SSN and manager start date. Okay, now just check out whether you are having the department number 5 in department location, in department relation. Yes, you are having department number 5, department number 4 and department number 1. So department 5 is research, 4 is administration, 1 is what? Headquarters. Okay, so here the department number 5 value what you are finding in employee relation, it is valid because department number 5 exists, right? Just now check the department relation, there is a department number 5. What is the department name for that? Research. So it is a valid information. Okay, second rule. Now if you just check Alicia J. Zelaya works in which department? 4. Whether department 4 exists in the department relation? Yes. So department 4 exists, and what we understood, department name is what? Administration. So we found that in the overall picture that is being given. So 2 times 4, 4 are present. It means what? There exists which relation, I mean the department number relation 4, 4. Okay, so here Frank, Franklin, Alicia works for which department? Department number 4, that is with the administration. Okay, so this is a second rule. So now you understand, student, a value of foreign key in a tuple T1 of the current state R1 either occur as a value of primary key for some tuple T2 in the current state R2, that is relation to, or is null. It means what? Here the value of foreign key, that is department number DNO in a tuple T1, in one of the tuple of the current state R1, that is we are referring the first employee's tuple, right? So it is in which relation? Employee relation, so that is called as relation 1, either occurs as a value of primary key for some tuple T2. It means what? The DNO occurs, that DNO which is found in the employee relation row, okay, it is found as a primary key value in one of the tuple, in one particular current state. So current state in relation to, which is a relation to department relation. Is that clear? So the person who was working, John, who is working in D number, department number 5. So some tuple T1 in relation 1. Okay. So the DNO, it acts as a primary key in one of the tuple T1 in which relation 2, that is department. So here DNO tuple in one of the relation R1 acts as a primary key in one of the tuple in the relation department. So if such things happens, only then the foreign key what constraint is satisfied. Okay, and if you just check your students, in the current state R2, or is null, or it should not exist only. Okay, so if any value found in the relation 1, okay, if the employee is working in a department, we are giving the department number name. If the employee is not working in any department, or if the employee is new, he has not yet been allotted with any department, then the department number will be null. Null means if the department number value is null, no problem. The meaning says that he has not actually allotted to any department in the current situation. That is the meaning. Okay. So the conditions for a foreign key specifies a referential integrity constraint between two relation schemas R1 and R2. So what are those two rules? You should remember this. The attributes of foreign key have the same domain as the primary key attributes of relation 2. The attributes Fk are set to reference or refer to the relation R2. So let me once recall this. So there are two rules for a foreign key. So if department number is acting as a foreign key in one of the relation employee, then the department number which is actually considered as a primary key in department relation, whatever the data type is defined for department number in department relation, the same data type has to be defined where? In the employee relation. Here also DNO should be defined with the same data type of specific length that is being specified in the which one? Department relation for its primary key. This is one condition. Another condition is whatever the value we find in the department number column, that is 5. John, who works in department number 5, or whatever the values 4, 1 you are observing, department number 5, 4, 1. Just check your students in the department relation. There exist which values? 5, 4, 1 exists. So 1 is headquarters, administration is 4, research is 5. So whatever the values you find in the department number column should exist in as a primary key in which relation, in the relation department. And just check out the primary key. Entity integrity constraint says what? The value should be unique, right? So the primary key value should be unique. It should not be repeated. So this is about the foreign key constraints. Okay, in the former case, we have T1 of Fk is equal to T2 of Pk. So here tuple 1 in which one foreign key is equal to tuple 2 of primary key, and we say that the tuple T1 references or refers to the tuple T2. Remember students, here this is tuple 1, tuple 2. Tuple 1 foreign key, that is the row in relation 1. So what is T2? The tuple 2 or the row in which relation? In relation 2. Relation 1, relation 2. What does this mean? So if we consider this as an employee relation, and if we consider this as which one? The department relation, then John, who is working in department number 5, department number is a foreign key value, right? Yes. So the tuple where the John is given with which information he is working in department number 5, it should be equal to T2. T2 means some tuple in which relation? Department relation, where the primary key, the department number 5 was told here, right? So department number 5 exists in which relation? Department relation, which acts as a primary key. Okay, so that is the meaning. So we have tuple of foreign key in of relation 1 equal to tuple of primary key in relation R2. Okay. Then in this definition, R1 is called the referencing relation and R2 is the reference relation. So R1 is what? For example, if it is employee is telling what? That employee is working in department number 5. So employee relation becomes which type of relation? Referencing relation. And R2 is what? The department relation, and R2 is the reference relation. So employee working in department number 5. So it is told in employee relation. It becomes the referencing relation. So in which is actually the reference relation. Which relation they are referencing? They are referencing the department. Okay. So that is called as referenced relation. Okay. If these two conditions hold, a referential integrity constraint from R1 and R2 is said to hold. So if the above conditions are satisfied, then we tell the referential integrity constraints are held. Okay. Then in a database of many relations, there are usually many referential integrity constraints. So in the database environment, as there exist many relations and as these relations are having relationship between them, so this referential integrity exists to certain maximum extent. Okay, there we find many foreign key references or the referential integrity constraints dealt in the big database schema. Okay. Well students, in my next session we shall discuss more about the integrity constraints. Meet you all in the next session. Thank you.